Okay, in the last video, we talked about inserting many things into the database table. In this video, I want to talk very briefly about data types. So we've already touched on this in the past. Each column has to be of the same type. Here for name, all of the things in here are text, or in database terms, varchars. Here over here, we have age. Those are integers, right? So what are the different data types that are available? What are they called and how do you use them? Well, every database is a little bit different, right? And they all call data types different things. You know, um, one of them might be varchar, another one might just call it car. One of them might call it car field. But they're all sort of the same. You just have to look them up basically because there's so many databases, and likely you're going to use other databases besides MySQL. Postgres is very popular. I'm building a course on Postgres if you're interested in that. Check back in a couple of weeks. Or likely it'll be out by the time you see this. But all databases have different types of data types. So let's see, let's pull up a web browser, and you just have to go to Google and type in MySQL data types. And there's a bunch of different, now this is the MySQL, the actual docs. I don't recommend going there. It's confusing. It's a very silly thing. Let's see, W3 schools. Oh, that might work. Tutorials point, that's always a good one. We'll look at a couple of these and just see. So SQL data types, MySQL data types. All right, this is what we want. And you can see we have, here's just a list of them, car, and then size, varchar size. And you can see holds a variable length string. Can contain letters, numbers, special characters, maximum size is specified in parentheses, can store up to 255 characters. If you put a greater value than 255, it will convert it to a text type. That's down here, right? Car looks very similar. Varchar, I can't remember off the top of my head the difference between the two. Maybe the tutorial point says. Let's look through here. You must define, blah, blah, blah. Right padded with spaces. I don't know. I can't remember offhand. It's not terribly important. Varchar is the one you're always going to want to use. Just kind of trust me on that. Text blob. These are for binary objects, images, maybe music files, things like that. Yeah. So then looking down here, we have different types of numbers: tiny integers, small integers, medium integers, int. Notice I put integer, that works too. Or int, you can put. And there's different types of things. Float is like a decimal number, right? So if you're going to save like customer data, like if somebody bought something from you and it was $19.95, you wouldn't want to use integer because integer is a whole number. You would want to use float, that sort of thing, or decimal, right? Double stored it as a string. No, you would not want that because then it turns it into a string. So very interesting. You can come through here, whatever you happen to need, and there are just millions of use cases, so I can't really go through all of them. But those are the different things. And the main sort of categories are text and numbers. Those are the ones you're going to use the most. But you could also use date. So here you can see different date things: date, time, year, timestamp. Let's see. I think that's all. Now we're getting into different types of databases here. Yeah. So let's look at the tutorial point one real quick. Here we have the same int, medium, big int, data types for time, string types. So very interesting. And that's all there is to it, really. So like, don't try and memorize these because it's stupid. You don't need to do that. Just whenever you're designing your database, spend a minute, Google it, and go, oh yeah, I need to use varchar. Or if you have a specific use case that needs something that varchar doesn't quite work well with, just go through the string types and find the one that does work, right? And they all work the same. You type, instead of varchar, you would type, blob, and then the parentheses, and then the max length or whatever, just like we did with varchar. So, yeah, I think that's data types. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Let's see. In the next video, I think we're going to start to look at pulling data out of the database and like showing it on the screen, and that'll be in the next video.